Quantum's an interesting stock. It's one of those stocks which isn't widely known. It's got a market cap of around $170 million. And what they do is they focus on intellectual property, trademarks, commercial law. It's look, the chart we're looking at here. So I'll just talk a little bit about this chart first. So this is a weekly chart, and when I look at a stock, one of the first things I do is I jump over to the weekly chart. Like the daily chart, I'll spend a lot of time on that, but a daily will only usually cover maybe the last year's worth of price action. So when I go to the weekly, I can usually get like 5 years, 10 years, maybe even more. And what that does, it really helps put the daily chart into perspective. Because when you look at the weeklies, you can sometimes get a different picture than just focusing at the daily. So, what we can see here is that since listing in 2016, it's really struggled, this stock. And what we're looking at now is it's like it fits in the category of being a potential turnaround story. And so the focus point on this chart is like looking at the bottom right-hand corner of the chart. And while I'm not, as you'd probably know, I'm not interested in preempting recovery points. It's really about looking for the momentum in a stock. And that's my way. That's the motion trader way. So identify that momentum and then go with the momentum. That's what we're starting to see happen here with Quantum. You can see the two green lines in the bottom right-hand corner, and the price is moving outside of that range. So I've got another chart because I want to zoom in on that area. So this is that bottom right-hand corner. This is a daily chart now, and so what we're looking at what's called a triangle pattern, and triangles they're one of those classic chart formations. I first learned about them when I joined in my graduate year when I joined the charting department in the early 90s, and it's one of those patterns which are so consistent, and you see them in so many situations, and they can be continuation patterns or sometimes they're turning point patterns, as what I think is the case in this situation. So the way they work is you get the prices, they coil up as they move towards the apex of the triangle, and then you get the breakout. So we've got the breakout in Quantum, and that signals that momentum is now starting to shift from that long downward period that we saw to potentially a rising phase. And the thing with a triangle is you can get a measured move out of them, so you can get some sort of a target as to where they might go. So the way we've done that is to measure the width of that triangle from its widest point and then project it up from where it broke out from. And so you can see that on the chart. The measured move out of here is up towards $1.41. And now look, that's not to say that that's actually going to be the point it gets to. Sometimes they fall short, sometimes they run a lot further. But it's a good yardstick for building your risk-reward profile around a particular trade. And look, a side point on this, it's got a dividend yield of around 6.2%. So it's always nice when the fundamentals and the technicals sort of come together to sort of like get a double tick to say, well, look, this could be an interesting stock worth having a look at. And I think this is one which could do well maybe over the next year or so.
Yeah, nice little back test.